Something inside you already knows that this message is not random. You did not click this by accident. There is a reason this found you at this exact point in your life. And the reason has nothing to do with coincidence and everything to do with alignment. What you are feeling right now is not confusion. It is not failure. It is not being behind. It is the sensation of movement beginning before your mind has caught up with it. When you say that you do not have clarity yet, something powerful is already happening. The moment you notice uncertainty, the non-physical part of you becomes clearer. The moment you feel discomfort, the source part of you moves toward relief. The moment you feel lack, the larger part of you expands into abundance. Expansion always happens first, outside of your physical awareness. That is why it feels invisible. That is why it feels subtle. And that is why so many people misunderstand what is actually going on when life feels unsettled. You are not meant to judge progress by external proof. You are meant to recognize it by how your inner state is shifting. When you notice impatience, frustration, or doubt, it does not mean things are going wrong. It means you are standing in contrast while expansion is already underway. The discomfort you feel is not punishment. It is guidance. It is a signal that the version of you that already exists beyond this moment is calling you forward. Think about how easy it is to trust a journey you understand. When someone drives across familiar terrain, they do not panic halfway through and declare the trip a failure. They do not stop and argue about why they have not arrived yet. They simply keep moving, knowing the destination is inevitable. But when it comes to personal change, healing, abundance, or fulfillment, people forget that they are also on a journey. They stop mid-path and measure results prematurely. They check for proof before alignment has had time to translate into form. This is where many people unknowingly turn back. They were moving forward emotionally. They were softening resistance. They were becoming more available to what they asked for. And then they stopped to take score. They noticed what was still missing. They noticed what had not shown up yet. They compared where they were to where they thought they should be. And in that moment, they reversed direction. You were never meant to monitor progress through manifestation timing. You were meant to notice progress through emotional movement. Downstream always feels better than upstream. That does not mean joy appears instantly. It means relief appears first, acceptance appears first, a subtle softening appears first. That is how you know you are headed in the right direction. You are allowed to be exactly where you are. It's not as resignation, but as power. You cannot move from a place you refuse to acknowledge. Pretending to feel better does not help. Forcing positivity does not help. Ignoring discomfort does not help. Accepting your current emotional position is the moment your leverage returns. All of your power exists right now, not later. Not when things improve, not when conditions change, right now. The only control you have is direction. The only decision that matters is whether the next thought feels slightly better or slightly worse. That is it. That is the entire system. You are source energy in a physical body, but not all of you came with you. The larger part of you remains non-physical, expanded, and free of resistance. That part of you is not worried. That part of you is not confused. That part of you is not doubting the outcome. It is focused purely on expansion. And it expands because of what you live. Every experience you have creates preference. Every moment of contrast clarifies desire. Even when you do not speak it out loud, you emit requests at every level of your being. Your cells do it, your emotions do it, your attention does it. And the source part of you answers immediately by becoming the solution. That is why frustration feels uncomfortable, not because you are wrong, but because you are resisting something that already exists vibrationally. The moment you feel contrast, the expanded version of you is already formed. The only question is how quickly you allow yourself to move toward it. You do not need to jump from despair to joy. That distance is too great. You are not meant to leap. You are meant to climb. The emotional scale exists for a reason. If you are in despair, anger may feel like relief. If you are in anger, frustration may feel softer. If you are in frustration, hope becomes reachable. Once hope appears, alignment accelerates naturally. This is why forcing positivity backfires. It skips steps. It ignores where you are. It creates internal conflict instead of momentum. Progress happens through honesty, not pressure. Through acknowledgement, not denial. Make a decision now to stop fighting your current position. Decide that where you are is valid. Decide that your only responsibility is to find the next thought that feels better than the one you are thinking now. It's not perfect, not ideal, just better. That choice alone begins to close the gap between who you are and who you have become through living. That gap is the only source of discomfort. When you feel out of sync, it is because life has expanded you and you have not yet allowed yourself to catch up. You were built for expansion. Stagnation feels painful because it goes against your nature. When life causes you to want more, you cannot undo that wanting. You can only allow or resist the movement toward it. This is why even small forward motion feels relieving. Just like traffic beginning to move after a standstill, progress feels good even when it is slow. Momentum matters more than speed. Direction matters more than distance. If you were to turn completely around and move opposite to your expansion, the discomfort would intensify. That is not punishment. That is guidance. Life is not judging you. You are simply feeling the difference between where you are standing and where you are headed. You are not failing at manifestation. You are learning alignment. You are learning how to cooperate with your own expansion instead of fighting it. That is mastery. When you allow yourself to feel slightly better consistently, something interesting happens. Thoughts begin to shift without effort. Opportunities begin to feel obvious instead of forced. Impulses arise naturally. You begin to feel guided rather than driven. This is because alignment is not about effort. It is about allowance. It's about removing resistance, not adding action. When you are aligned, inspired action presents itself clearly and cleanly. You have so much already waiting for you. It's not metaphorically, vibrationally. You have spent lifetimes creating preferences, desires, and intentions. They are real. They exist. They are calling you forward. In the moment you stop fighting where you are and turn gently toward relief, you feel the movement begin. That feeling you sense right now is not imagination. It is not wishful thinking. It is the internal shift that happens when resistance loosens. It is the quiet activation of alignment. The secret is not controlling outcomes. The secret is tending to your own vibrational gap. It does not matter where others are. It does not matter where you think you should be. The only relevant question is whether the thought you are choosing feels better than the one before it. If it does, you are moving downstream. If it does not, you are resisting. That awareness alone is enough to transform your experience. As you practice this, something changes in how you move through the world. Begin to see through the eyes of Source. You carry a steadiness. People feel relief around you. They sense clarity without needing explanation. They notice that you seem to receive what you ask for with ease. This is not because you became special. It is because you stopped resisting who you already are. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing has gone off track. Nothing needs fixing. Alignment is not a destination. It is a direction. And every time you choose a thought that feels better than the last, you are fulfilling your purpose. If this message found you, it is because you are ready to stop measuring progress by proof and start recognizing it by feeling. You are closer than you think. You have always been. And now you can feel it.